The rivalry between Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson has reached boiling point after Bristol. Hamlin has fired back at Larson's post-race comments following the Food City 500, and NASCAR fans are going wild over this latest exchange. Kyle Larson dominated the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway on Sunday. The Hendrick Motorsports star led an incredible 411 of 500 laps in a completely commanding performance. This left Denny Hamlin settling for second place, crushing his hopes of securing 3 consecutive Cup Series wins. Larson couldn't help but take a shot at Hamlin during his victory lane interview. Speaking to the Bristol crowd, Larson said,
And it did, and it turned into a normal Bristol track there for us. So really played in our favor. Obviously having the track position helps a lot. If Denny's in front of me, it could be a totally different story and be really hard to pass him. But glad to stop his three-peat. We hate to see him win, so as I'm sure you guys do too. But it's just good to be back here in victory lane.
The Bristol crowd erupted in cheers when Larson made these comments. Fans know all too well that Hamlin has embraced his role as a villain at Bristol in the past. Initially, Hamlin was gracious in defeat. Right after climbing out of his car, he acknowledged Larson's superior performance. You gotta give that team their due and Kyle and his due. They just had a dominant performance and it looked like a pretty flawless day for him. It was all I had to try to keep up there. Hamlin even pointed out why Larson had the edge.
Be a little bit more versatile. I thought that the 5 was able to navigate traffic slightly better than what I was, and that was a big benefit. And certainly, I felt like an open racetrack I could run with him and was able to catch him there on the second long stint. But I couldn't navigate the traffic quite as good as he could.
But now Hamlin has fired back. On his Actions Detrimental podcast, Hamlin blasted Larson's post-race comments. What makes this even more shocking, Hamlin revealed he had actually been rooting for Larson to achieve a weekend sweep of all 3 Bristol races. His post-race comments about keeping me from the 3 in a row, and we don't like to see that, and you fans don't either. Now I'm like pots on your triple, your sweep, Hamlin declared. I'm glad Chandler Smith beat you. This is a complete 180 from Hamlin, who admitted he had been supporting Larson's attempt to join Kyle Busch as the only drivers to sweep all 3 NASCAR National Series races in a single weekend.
Chandler Smith wins the truck race on Friday night, holding off Kyle Larson, keeping him from the triple. And I was rooting for Kyle, the whole time, and I've always gotten on him, and he's mentioned to me before the driver intros of the Cup race.
Hamlin even revealed that he and other drivers had been challenging Larson to make an even bigger statement in his races.
We were getting on him for not lapping the field in Xfinity at Homestead. We were just like, come on, man, like, show the indictment on the Xfinity field, like just lap every single one of them.
According to Hamlin, Larson responded,
and he said, well, I tried to this time at Bristol. He said, but way the cautions fall with the stages are so short. He's like, I got as far as I could. And so if you were wondering why Kyle was going after it so hard at the Xfinity race, nearly wrecking, it's because his friends were goading him into trying to lap the field.
The historic context makes this rivalry even more intense. Kyle Larson was attempting to achieve something only Kyle Busch has done: sweep all 3 NASCAR races, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, in a single weekend at the same track. Busch has accomplished this feat twice in his career. Larson came remarkably close. He won the Xfinity race on Saturday in dominant fashion, leading 277 of 300 laps on his way to his 16th career Xfinity victory. Then on Sunday, he was even more dominant in the Cup race, leading 411 of 500 laps. But Larson came up short in Friday's truck race. Chandler Smith led 127 of 250 laps to take the win, while Larson couldn't lead a single lap and finished second. Now, Hamlin is taking satisfaction in Larson's failed sweep attempt after those post-race comments. The stats from the Cup race show just how completely Larson controlled the event. Alex Bowman led the first 39 laps, and Ryan Blaney led 48 laps, mostly during green flag pit cycles. Carson Hocevar led just 2 laps. The remaining 411 laps belonged to Larson. Larson's average speed of 100.746 miles per hour set a stunning record as the fastest Bristol race since the track was changed to concrete. Only Cale Yarborough's April 1977 win at Bristol was quicker, over 500 laps. Even more impressive, this performance helped Larson replicate Bobby Allison's historic Bristol feat. This accomplishment hadn't been matched in 53 years. The rivalry between Hamlin and Larson has been building for years. This marked the 7th time these two drivers have finished 1-2 against each other. Their relationship has been described as friends turned rivals and the best of friends and worst of enemies. Hamlin's bid for a 3rd consecutive win would have been historic. He was attempting to become the first driver since 2021 to win 3 straight Cup races. It also would have made him the winningest driver in Joe Gibbs' racing history. Meanwhile, Larson has now secured his 2nd win of the 2025 season, giving him 5 straight seasons with multiple victories. His record at Bristol now includes 3 Cup Series wins at the iconic half-mile banked oval. The Food City 500 win has shaken up the NASCAR standings. Larson jumped up 2 positions to P4 in the official NASCAR rankings, while Hamlin remains in 2nd place behind points leader William Byron. But in NBC's Power Rankings, Hamlin holds the top spot, with Larson 2nd and Byron 3rd. What makes Hamlin's success even more remarkable is that he's doing it with a new crew chief for the 2025 season. The number 11 driver now has 2 wins under his belt and 4 straight top 5 finishes. The Bristol weekend had a somber backdrop as the NASCAR community mourned several recent losses. Larson dedicated his win to John Edwards, the Hendrick Motorsports Director of Racing Communications, who passed away earlier in the week.
We did this one for John. What did John mean to you, Kyle?
Yeah, no, this one's definitely for John. He's just a great guy here. So we're going to miss him, but successful weekend here. Wish he was going to be here with us to celebrate, but I know he's celebrating with us in spirits.
Hamlin also acknowledged these losses after the race. This weekend, we're all thinking about John Edwards, his family, Al Pierce, Shigaki Hattori. We've lost a lot of great people in our sport over this past week, so our thoughts are with them. Despite the heated exchange, there's clearly an underlying respect between these two championship contenders. Hamlin laughed off his comments about Larson's failed sweep attempt, saying, "It's all good," before going on to praise Larson's commanding performance. The Bristol race was notable for another reason. It featured the longest green flag run of the stage racing era. This played perfectly into Larson's hands, allowing him to showcase his car's superior speed and his ability to manage traffic. Larson's victory at Bristol means he's now won both of his Cup Series races this season following participation in the Truck and Xfinity Series at the same tracks. He achieved similar success at Homestead, winning 2 out of 3 races there. Both drivers now look ahead to the next challenge on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, but the rivalry between Hamlin and Larson has added another explosive chapter at Bristol, and fans can't wait to see what happens when these two superstars battle again. Larson's Bristol win has now been commemorated as one of the most dominant performances in recent NASCAR history. At the last Great Coliseum, Larson prevailed among the Cup Series gladiators. For Hamlin, the quest for 3 consecutive wins may have fallen short, but his run of 4 straight top 5 finishes shows he remains a serious championship contender. Larson's teammate Chase Elliott was also in the spotlight at Bristol, though for different reasons. Elliott was left frustrated by interactions with Bubba Wallace further down in the field, while Larson took prime track position and made the most of it to hold off Hamlin at the finish. The tension between Hamlin and Larson creates yet another compelling storyline in what's already been an exciting NASCAR season. With William Byron winning the season opener Daytona 500 and Hamlin and Larson combining to win the last 5 races, the competition at the front of the field couldn't be tighter.